from Desk of Ladyada.
Hey everybody. My hair's a little messy. Hey everybody, and welcome to Desk of Ladyada. It's me, Ladyada, with me, Mr. Ladyada on camera control.
Hello.
No, I don't think any news or updates. Of course, Adafruit is like semi-closed today. We had a float holiday.
Yeah, so Juneteenth was Sunday, but Adafruit has Monday's official day off. So we're doing the show tonight. Yesterday, we saw some art. Check out our blog and more. And normal show schedule this week, Wednesday, show and tell, 7:30. John Pedro will be doing their 3D Hangout show, 11 a.m. JP on Thursday.
JP's back. Liz is back.
Dive with Tim on Fridays and then Ask an Engineer Wednesday nights at 8. So we're doing this show tonight. And we have some cool stuff to show and also a great search.
30 minutes of fun, great search as well. Okay, so let's kick it off with some samples. Originally this wasn't in the plan, but these came in yesterday evening. So I got these cool samples of knurled knobs. These are anodized aluminum, colorful, colorfully chromed knurled knobs. So 5 colors. You get gold, black, silver, blue. I like the blue a lot, and this kind of deep red jewel tone. JP requested some more knobs because we have a lot of potentiometers, and these use a set screw, which is not unusual because it's easier to machine. I mean, it's machined on a lathe, obviously. That's how you do knurling and how you get such even, smooth shapes. Which means it's harder to get, a D shaft or T18 style mold inside. So instead, you just, at the end of the process, you just drill and tap a hole in, and then you can use this 2mm hex wrench. So let's say you have like a D shaft potentiometer. You put it in, slides in, but then you can tighten it with the set screw, and you've got this really cool knob. These are often used in very nice synthesizers and drum machines and other devices. You can also use a T18 knob. It's a little bit of a press fit, but it does press fit in. And then, of course, you can put the set screw on if you want to have it tightened so it doesn't slip. And I like the indicator because that means you can use it with pots or with rotary encoders. I like to have a little bit of an indicator with knobs. So I don't know if people like these knobs.
Well, yeah.
They like them? Great. We'll stock them. So these are the samples I got. These seem good, so we'll get them into the shop. So that's some samples.
Okay, what else you got going on?
Okay, so next up, there's this part shortage. And one of the parts that's being affected right now is we asked about this on when our weekly 10 minutes of begging called part shortage, where we ask companies, hey, can you please ship us the stuff that we ordered? So we're still following up on that, but we are unable to get Atmega 328s, Atmega 328Ps, famous because they're used in Arduino Unos, like the most popular microcontrollers in the world, the dev boards. We also use them in the Metro Mini, the Metro, and the Feather 328P. We both use TQFP package and TQFN package. We don't really use a DIP package. We did for the Boarduino, but we discontinued the Boarduino many years ago, and now we just have the Metro Mini. So the Metro Mini uses the QFN, the Metro, which is kind of Arduino Uno compatible. We made that, basically when we were like, we want to have, a microcontroller that has logic level shifting. You can choose logic level, and also wasn't clear if we were able to get Arduinos during a very tumultuous 2 years in Arduino history. And those use cheap QFPs, but we're unable to get both. And both we ordered about a year ago, and the lead time at the time was 52 weeks. Like, remember, everybody was like 52 weeks. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, here's how many we'll need in a year. So we ordered them back in March 2021, and it's been, a year and a quarter, and they got bumped to 2023, basically, or maybe even later. So we're not going to get them anytime soon, and this is a little bit of an issue because we actually ordered what we needed. With the expectation that, and we did this thing called scheduling it out, where we say, hey, we don't need them immediately, but we need them in a year because we'll run out by then. Years gone by, no chips. So it's an issue because we still have some Metro Minis in stock, and we're probably going to have a couple, enough for a few months. But the Feather 328P and, the Feather, 328P and the Metro both were out of chips, and we were expecting them. So we can't manufacture these two products, which is a little sad. And I was sort of tasked with, hey, can you find a way around this? And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a bit of a challenge, but I'll see what I can do. And, one of the things that I found when I looked around is Digi-Key actually had some Atmega 328, not the P type, but the plain 328 in 28 QFN package, the MMH package, and they had like a couple hundred in stock, 500 in stock, and I'm like, well, that'll at least keep us going for a few months. And what's interesting is Mr. Ladyada was like, that's really weird. I thought that there weren't any chips. Why were you able to buy these? Why were they available? And I think the answer is a lot of people don't use the 28 QFN package. So let's go to the computer because it's a little bit of an oddity. Basically, I grabbed them and then I was like, wait, what did I just buy? Let's see if I can. I don't think I can hide this side thing. So this is what a lot of people purchase. They purchase the dip, which is 28 pins in a dip format, or they get the QFN, 32 QFN. This is very common. This is the most popular package. And then the other one that's popular is the TQFP, which is, has longer legs than this shows, but also 32 pin, same as the QFN, honestly. The difference between the two packages is this one has the 2 extra ADC pins. Anyone who's played with the Atmega 328 knows there's these 2 kind of weirdo, not GPIO, they're ADC only input pins, ADC 6 and 7, and I think there's an extra VCC pin, an extra ground pin. So these 2 pins are duplicated, and then these 2 pins are extra. Otherwise, it's actually almost the same pin out. But because it wasn't the P type, which is basically a lower power, slightly lower power version, I think people didn't notice that these were available, and so I was able to snag some. So let me hold on. Actually, I left them over there. Let me just grab them real fast.
Yeah, I remember you brought them home.
I brought them home, but I put them away because I forgot that we were doing a video later. So, and I wrapped them in tape, which is, not really static. So let's go to the overhead and I can show these chips. So this is the, on here you can see the 32 QFN. So this is, again, everyone used this package because it was the most available, it was the cheapest, etc. And then this is the 28 QFN. So I don't know if you can see, but it's a little bit smaller. It is a little bit smaller. It's a finer pitch. It's here, I'll put it upside down so you can really see it. So you can see that the package fits, where you can see all the pads, fits on top. It is about 1 millimeter smaller on each side, and the pitch is 0.45 millimeter, not 0.5 millimeter. So it's a little bit, finer pitch. But basically, I'm like, well, you know what? I can't get the 32 QFN, and it's smaller, and it's easy to revise a board if the new package is smaller. The only thing that's a little sad is I don't believe, I couldn't get it so you could have either or, because the package is only a teeny bit smaller, and also it's not 1-to-1 pins. There is a little bit of a few pins kind of go side to side. So it is kind of a new board spin. This chip would fit inside of a TQFP, but it won't fit inside TQFN, so it's too small. So let's show the Do Dev board. So the first one I started with is the Metro Mini because, and this is, people are like, well, why, if it's you're swapping the part, why is this such a big deal? Why can't you just do it, and why does it take so long? The reason it takes so long is it's if you're going to go do a board revision, I'm like, well, here's all these things that I've been meaning to do, and I might as well just get it done now, because if I'm going to do a board revision, just do everything you want to do. So one thing is I'm not quite done with this design is updating this Metro Mini to use a USB-C, not micro B. I changed a lot of the parts to be let's see, it's a little clearer. I changed the parts to be 0603 rather than 0805. So there's a couple parts that are smaller, which actually gave me a little bit of space to move this 28 QFN over to the left, because like these LEDs got smaller and a lot of these capacitors that were like 0.1 microfarad got smaller. And that actually gave me space to move the reset button. Instead of centered, it kind of shifted to the side. And then I put a STEMMA QT connector on there. So I'm not quite done with this design. As you can see, I'm still in the process of routing out the data lines for the USB-C. But, I figured, look, if I'm going to revise this, I might as well, do an update. And I always really wanted to have a Metro Mini with a STEMMA QT port at the end. I thought that would be really useful. So, that's why the revisions take longer. It's like, if it was just this part swap, I'd be done in 10 minutes. But it's like, once you start cleaning out the fridge, you're like, oh, wow, look at this thing in the back of the fridge. Oh, I should really, bake some pancakes right now. I don't know. Anyways, that's where I'm at. So that's the revision. So taking advantage basically of if I can't get a part and I find an alternative, why not go in and fix it up? So this revision, I'm going to wrap it up, and then what's ironic is, of course, I'm not going to manufacture the Metro Mini immediately, but it's a good test bed because it's small, and then the Metro is actually the board I'm going to do the bigger revision on. The Metro, this is very tough because, again, there's a TQFP, I can fit a QFN in, but I can't fit both the 32 and 28, so I have to pick which one, which is a little bit infuriating, because it's I would prefer to have all three options, because if it's going to be a year and a half till I get more chips, I don't know what I'm going to get first. A year ago, it was interesting. A year ago, when I needed some parts, once in a while, I'd email the company and be like, look, do you have anything? And one company, which was my nameless, was like, well, we don't have the B subtype, but we have the A subtype of this chip. And I was like, what's the difference? They're like, oh, there's this timing, right? They're basically a silicon fix. And they're like, as long as the silicon, if you don't need the newer version of the silicon, because you don't care about low power, you don't care about some timing bug. And they said, as long as you don't initialize it in this bad way and annoy the chip, you're good to go. And I'm like, this is not a problem. I'm just going to make sure I initialize it correctly. I'll work around the silicon bug. Send me the 4,000 chips. Send them to me. And so I got them. But that's kind of over. Everybody's looked under their couches, in the closet. There's no more just mystery chips available. So that's the part shortage I'm dealing with this week. Very exciting. Okay.
Right.
Any questions before we move on to...
Nope. You want to do some great search?
Yeah, let's do some great search.
All right, here we go.
Where in the world is that part I need? The great search with Digi-Key.
The Great Search brought to you by Adafruit and Digi-Key. Every single week, Ladyada user powers of engineering to show you, yes you, how to find stuff on Digi-Key.com. Thanks, Digi-Key. Ladyada, what are you searching for this week?
Did you know there's a part shortage?
I did.
I do. Okay, well, today is another adventure in part shortage land. So this week, I'm looking for some alternatives to use for the very popular MCP 23017 GPIO expander. It's a 16 pin GPIO expander over I2C, which I really like. I've been using it for over a decade, but it's totally unavailable. We have some on order. Not sure when I'm going to get them. Again, a lot of stuff from Microchip placed orders a year ago, and they've been pushed out. So let's go to the computer, and I'll show the what I would like to replace. Okay, so what's interesting is you can get the dip version, but what I really want is, this is a very popular breakout, which, is great because it has 16 GPIO expansion, address, interrupt output. It's a very easy and low cost breakout that over I2C you can add 16 GPIOs. And here's the things that I like about the MCP 23017 and 23018. 23008. But specifically the 017, it's 16 bits, sweet. IRQ, so you don't have to constantly pull it when a button is pressed. Built-in pull-up resistors, which is big because there's the other GPIO expander that we stock, the AW9523, doesn't have built-in pull-ups, and it's a little bit annoying. And I like that it runs on 3 volts or 5 volts, which is very handy because you can kind of use it a little bit as a level shifter, a teeny bit. You know, you can use it with 3 volts, but use it to power LEDs or send signals to 5 volt servos. Sorry, not servos. People use it for rotary encoders. So I do like the MCP 23017. If I could get more, I would just use that. Unavailable. So let's find I2C, 3 or 5 volt power and logic, 16 GPIO, I2C expander, with interrupt output is capability, and ideally a small package like this, so I can make a similar breakout board, maybe one that's even drop-in pin-out compatible, that people can swap out while I wait for the 23017s to appear. Okay, so I did want to show, there's no 23017s. This is the chip I would normally purchase, and it's like, 2023. Maybe I'll get some in 2022. But I need them sooner than that. So let's go to IO Expander. So I just went to the same topic because I'm like, I might as well be there. And then let's look for our standard, we want active products, and I want 16 IO. Although I might do a little bit more because, look, it's 20, it's probably still fine. I'm going to not select this 8 output only, input only. I want them to be all GPIOs. Okay, so I'm going to apply. Next up, the interface. I want I2C. I2C sometimes has multiple names. Sometimes it's called TWI, 2-wire interface, 2-wire serial, SM bus. It's all going to be the same. And then voltage supply, I'll pick that. I want the surface mount. That's important to me. It has to be easy for me to pick in place. And I do want interrupt outputs. And then the voltage supply, I want, I have to remember how to select. Sorry, option click to select all the ones. I want it to make sure it goes from 3 volts to 5 volts. So I'm going to pick these, and I'm going to skip this one because I want it to also cover 3 volts. And let's see what we got. Okay. So actually there's a lot of options, and there's quite a few that are in stock, which is cool. So let's look at only ones that are in stock now. And there's quite a few from NXP. I've used NXP expanders. They're great. Analog Maxim, also great. I want to get something that's within the price range. Remember the MCP 23017 was $1.25 per, so I want to try to keep it at that range. So I like to view prices at 1,000 because the prices for one piece is always it doesn't really give you a good idea of how much it's going to cost. Some chip companies, the cost of one is basically the same as the cost of 1,000. Some you get pretty big discounts. So go to 1,000, and then we'll see what's up. So there's a couple good options. The PCA 9535 is available. Comes in a couple different packages. But the first one that came up was actually looks pretty good. So this is the SX1503, 16 channel. It's got 28 QFN, so I know it's about the same size, which is kind of nice. The pricing is really good. It's about 80 cents a piece. And then I looked up the data sheet, and they're like, you can use this with 3 volt logic and then controlling 5 volt LEDs. There's a reset pin as well as an interrupt pin. There's only one interrupt compared to the MCP 23017, but I think that's okay. Lots of GPIO. They have versions with 8 channel, 4 channel. You want to have more pins, less pins. And another thing that I wanted to check for is pull-up capability, because that was like the thing that I really wanted. Yes, so programmable, true bidirectional style I/O, so it means input and output, and programmable pull-ups and pull-downs. So, and all 5.5 volt compatible I/Os. This is actually a really good option. It basically has even more capability than the MCP23017 because it actually can do pull-downs as well. The MCP can only do pull-ups. And I'm willing to kind of look beyond the fact that there is only one IRQ. I think that's not a big deal. And then I don't know if there's address. Okay, yeah, there's one address pin, so you can have 2 of them. Not as many as the MCP, but again, you know, it's available, and I'm willing. Oh wait, sorry, that's the 013. Yeah, so there's. Ooh, I might not be able to change the address. Hold on a second, because the SX1503. See if I can find the pinout for that one. Block diagram. Okay, so this is the 4-channel, 8-channel, 16-channel. So it looks like there's GPIOs, and there's a reset, but there's no address. So this is a fixed address. So yeah, that's the one downside. You only get one address pin on OX20 hex. But, you know, I think it still might be good enough for most people if you don't need to chain multiples. And then maybe, like, this could be useful for people until I can get more of those MCP chips in. You know, you need more GPIO expansion. I don't know. We'll get a Grand Central. Well, you can't actually get Grand Central because I can't get those chips either. And that's what it's like living in a chip shortage. But I'm still going to make a breakout with this. I think it'll still be useful for 75-80% of people who don't need to chain multiple boards together. And we'll see it in the Adafruit shop in a couple months.
And that's this week's Great Search. Okay. So here's a question.
Yeah.
The Seesaw is a really good concept. Why not use ATtiny to replace the MCP 230X fixed function I2C devices?
It's good, but it's not as fast, and it doesn't it doesn't have things like 5 volt I/O compatibility. It does require a little bit of clock stretching. It's not quite as fast. There are side effects. The Seesaw is very good, but I wouldn't use it as a plain GPIO expander, especially for 80 cents. It's a really good deal. Also, a lot of these have much more durable outputs. They can control LEDs, multiple LEDs. Whereas the ATtiny, which is also, by the way, hard to get, and about the same price. You know, there's trade-offs, but I tend to use the Seesaw when I need an analog input or like some other stuff. It's really hard to beat a pure ROM silicon GPIO expander for speed and usability across like a wide range of platforms, especially when it's like, you know, clock sensitivity, clock stretching, and GPIO strength. Just you're not going to be able to compete with a specialized chip.
Okay.
Also, I don't think the ATtiny series has pull downs.
That is it. So
Okay.
that's our Desk of Ladyada. We'll be on our regular schedule soon. I think for the 4th of July weekend, we probably won't be doing a Desk of Ladyada, but we'll be posting content and stuff. But we'll keep everyone posted. That's a couple weeks away, but just to give you a heads up.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much,
I'm
everybody.
going to knurl my knobs.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody.